What the hell happened? Part 5. This is where I'm introducing the person I ended up marrying, who we're calling Delilah. I need to take a step back for a second because I feel like I left my whole family siblings relationship kind of on hold to tell the rest of the story, but that's just how my mind works. Anyway, taking a step back, relationships with siblings and parents. Um, we talked on birthdays, Christmas, very rarely. And I went out to visit maybe once every 6 months. I didn't have much money. I was living in the boss's basement. And yeah, my parents weren't big phone people. Neither was I guess. Think they were very happy that I was gone. I had no contact with my siblings at all except for to come back and just hang around the Christmas tree and I don't know, shoot rubber bands at each other. I don't even know what all we did. Throw wrapping paper, just stuff. Very, very surfacey relationship, if that. In the meantime, Jezebel had started going to a Mennonite college, I believe, of sorts. Mennonite education and some regular education. I don't know. We were pretty much distant at that time. And my younger brother, Nabal, really no relationship either. Just no interaction. He was still a minor. So there really wasn't much to tell there on that other than that. So anyway, back to this. I'm dating a girl that lives, like 300 miles from me. I'm pretty much broke. I hardly have any money. Still, no, I'm not still running the same car. At some point, while I was dating her, the timeline's messing with me, but at some point while I'm dating her, I get a 96 Ford Mustang, and I loved that car. It was so cool. I went from this 88 Chrysler LeBaron to this 96 Mustang with a V8 in it. It was totally cool. Purchased that. Doesn't really make much sense for construction, but whatever. I'm just a young 20s kid having fun. So anyway, I was running my old car up there, and it wasn't being reliable. There were issues. I didn't know the first thing about cars, so whatever. I'd saved up enough to buy another vehicle, bought the Mustang, and it was really cool. So I'm dating this girl, and by dating I mean like literally like the normal thing you would think of dating. Like I'd go up, we'd go to the movie theater, we would go to restaurants, and just date. I never had a girlfriend all through high school. There was no romantic relationships of any sort. I was homeschooled, not around many children. There was a homeschool group, so like I had some interaction, and eventually like the last year or two, I ended up going to this co-op where once every 2 weeks we kind of had a day of school, if you will, and it was pretty cool. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it, but I'm dating this girl. We talk on the phone all the time, and she doesn't want to live in her parents' house anymore. She's done with that. She just doesn't like the rules, doesn't like anything she has to do, all the obligations, whatever. So Delilah and I decide that we're going to get married, and it was, I don't think, neither of our parents approved of the timing of it, but I don't think they had any problem with us. They just didn't. We were too young, and we were young. I was 21 years old, and she was just a bit younger than me. So anyway, we're adults. We decide we're getting married. So we decide to get married. We plan our own wedding. So the wedding day comes. It's going to be happening up in New York. I drive up there. I've got some friends in the area, in Pennsylvania. They're all coming up for the wedding. It's, going to be awesome. It's going to be outdoors at a park. It was a budget wedding. Like we had less than $200 in the whole thing, from the park rental to the justice of the peace, everything. I don't totally remember why we went with the justice of the peace. But yeah. So anyhow, the night before the wedding, she's got this whole bachelorette party planned, and her and all of her friends are going to go out, and they, it's drinking and all that bachelorette stuff. I don't actually totally know what it was, other than I have no idea what went on. What I do know was for my bachelor party, there was supposed to be one, and there wasn't. My buddies were going to come up that night, and then something happened. They couldn't come up. So I'm there at her parents' house, sitting on the couch in the basement, just kind of watching TV. And I don't remember. I think there was something with like the wedding plan or something. And so I have to call her and be like, hey, what's happening with this or what's happening with that? And she yeah, she basically, like, she talked to me, but the second conversation she got really short with me. She's like, I'm, having my party and stuff. Like, don't bother me. Like, this is what I'm doing. And that was not the first red flag in the relationship, but it was a red flag looking at it now. Back then, I'm immature. It's my first relationship ever. I don't know anything. So I'm just like, oh, okay, whatever. Like, she doesn't want me to bother her. Well, then, meanwhile, I'm just sitting there like, whatever. And her dad comes and talks to me and just tells me, it's not too late to call this off and be done with it. And I kind of thought about that, and I'm like, nah, I'm going ahead with this. So went ahead with it, and she was fun. She liked to party and hang out and just have fun. Generally a fairly bubbly personality. We get married. The wedding goes really well. My parents didn't approve of the wedding so much they didn't stay for the reception. So at the end of the wedding, my family left. And that was just it was such a spontaneous wedding plan, whatever. We didn't do good in a lot of ways. It just worked out mostly. But I went straight from getting married to the reception, and that's where everybody was going to do the greetings and whatever. And so I didn't even say goodbye to my family at all. They just up and left. They're like, we're not going to it. We're out of here. So they left. And again, that leads to a couple more years of no family relationship whatsoever. Get married, go stay at a hotel, and then the rest of our honeymoon was at my new apartment, which was on the floor because we had no furniture. So we had it was pretty dumb, but I mean, hey, it didn't bother either of us. We were okay with it. New apartment. Basically, I wanted to stay living at my boss's house. He fixed up the basement in that time, so it was more like a mini apartment. He said I couldn't stay because it was a single family unit. I think he just wanted me out. But he said it's zoned as single family dwelling. If you're another family, all of a sudden it's not going to work. And so I got an apartment. Instead of paying $200 a month, now I'm paying $700 a month, or $650, but included heat, which was really cool. So the heat was included in that. So this is in Pennsylvania. It was actually Hanover, Pennsylvania. I had the coolest landlord ever. But yeah, he's really not part of the story, but he was just cool. Fast forward a little bit. Now I'm married. We're going to no real church. I kind of started visiting different churches with her. She was Baptist, same as I grew up, more or less. And she's like, well, she didn't really mind switching over to being Mennonite, putting on the head covering, and I was just like, whatever, like it's optional. I don't even remember if she really did or didn't. Like, I was just, I was just going to a church. I wasn't a member. I wasn't a part of anything. So I kind of bounced around with a couple different Mennonite churches that were not so stringent, if you will. And we were just going along through, and eventually I pretty much decided, based on all the nonsense at work, that I was not going to be Mennonite or Christian anymore. I was more the reverse Calvinist. And Delilah pretty much, through all this, decided she wasn't religious either, didn't really care about it. We didn't have to, she kind of probably just followed my lead. Like, I had all these reasons and logic and everything, and she's just like, okay, whatever, we're not religious, that's fine. So we became not religious, and we're running out of time. So the next part, the early years of marriage and religion and work.